When we look ahead to 2021, how's the flow, how's the pipeline of foreign direct investment looking?
Yeah, obviously the global environment is very challenging. I think it's going to be challenging for Ireland as well in terms of attraction of foreign direct investment. Having said that, to date, FDI has performed very well. We are obviously heavily focused on a certain number of sectors in Ireland: pharmaceuticals, medical technologies, international financial services and technology. And those sectors have proven very resilient since March, and we continue to see investment in those areas. Having said that, like all economies, we see a bifurcation in Ireland where we have sectors, particularly domestically traded sectors like retail, construction, hospitality, which are heavily impacted.
Right, so that's the sort of breakdown of the different sectors. Are you concerned that President-elect Biden might want to push forward then with a global digital tax? Is that something that'll undermine the Irish model?
You know, I think firstly, the fundamentals of what investors are looking for haven't changed and are unlikely to change. They're going to look for stability, consistency. They're looking for talented workforce. They're looking for innovation. And, you know, any company that wants to internationalize is going to be looking for those things, and Ireland is the answer, obviously. And we know that companies that internationalize perform better in their home countries as well as where they internationalize to. In relation to, I suppose, global taxation, Ireland's position has been clear. We very much support the OECD efforts targeted at tax avoidance. We have been a key participant in the base erosion profit shifting initiative. We would like to see an outcome from the so-called Pillar 1 and Pillar 2. We do not support unilateral moves in relation to digital services taxes, but we do believe that an overall framework that allows all countries to compete fairly is where we need to land. And I think, you know, we would hope in relation to, I suppose, the Biden-Harris administration that there will be a more multilateral approach to issues like this, tax, trade, etc.
Are you having conversations with the Biden administration, well, soon to be Biden administration, about plans for global digital taxes? Are you expressing these concerns to them? Do you think they're listening?
Yeah, so I suppose we have to acknowledge that President-elect Biden is President-elect. He did have a discussion with our Prime Minister last week. I understand that that discussion went very well. Obviously, President-elect Biden is Irish-American. He knows Ireland very well. He knows Europe very well. I think all of that is positive.
All of that's positive. And do you think that the sort of Irish soft power that you can build on with that relationship, is that something that could increase flows of investments into Ireland under a Biden administration?
I think, you know, Ireland has performed extraordinarily well in terms of FDI, particularly foreign direct investment from the US. Last year, 63% of all foreign direct investment into Ireland came from the US. I think we'll continue to remain attractive to the US. We also expect the US to compete for foreign direct investment. I have no doubt that the Biden-Harris administration, that their objective will be to increase investment in the US, attract new jobs to the US, retain jobs in the US. And that's, I suppose, a scenario that Ireland is very familiar with. We compete on an international stage with all countries for these investments. But again, I would say that, you know, for companies to be successful, they need to internationalize, and whether they're market seeking talent, seeking innovation, seeking R&D, and in that context, Ireland is a really good bet.
Do companies need to internationalise, physically as much as you suggest, though, Martin, given the phenomenon that has become work from home in 2020? Do you think that argument still stands up?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, undoubtedly, I think post-pandemic, we're not going back to where we were, where everybody needs to be in an office, core hours in a particular location. Nor do I think, by the way, we're going to a scenario where everything is done solely remotely. Certainly, what we hear very strongly from our largest companies is that they're going to have a kind of hybrid model, and they do need people in offices. They do need centralized locations. They're trying to build teams. They're trying to build collaboration. They're trying to build innovation. So I think what we're going to see is a hybrid model. It's also the case, of course, that if there is increased remote working, that Ireland might benefit from that. And I think, like all countries, we are challenged by regional dispersion of enterprise at times, and I think remote working presents some opportunities for countries to maybe spread industrial development more widely.
I want to get your thoughts on the Brexit latest, I suppose, and your experience at the IDA of how this is going. At the time of the Brexit vote, a lot of people said, well, UK businesses might want to put a footprint in Ireland to maintain some EU presence, and that would boost flows into Ireland. Has that transpired? Has that been the experience, Martin?
Yes, we've certainly seen increased investment into Ireland as a result of the Brexit referendum in 2016 and what has ensued. I think we would classify over 90 companies coming to Ireland, either increasing their presence or adding new functions in Ireland as a direct result of Brexit, primarily in the international financial services sector, but much more broadly, that would include pharma, medtech, anything that is touched by regulation. I suppose, as we know, we're nearing the end game in relation to the current discussions. Ireland's position hasn't changed. We believe that the closest possible trading relationship with UK, our nearest neighbour, is the best outcome. Obviously, that can't be at any cost. Any type of Brexit was going to have a negative impact on the Irish economy under any scenario. And at this point, we're preparing for January 1st, and we're preparing businesses for January 1st.